In this episode of Highlight Sundays, the internet, the good, the bad, the ugly. Hello and welcome back to Highlight Sundays. It is the 29th week of 2014 and here are your highlights. As always, we kick things off with our PSA of the week. This one comes from Ars Technica and is entitled, Beware of infected hotel PCs, stealing guests' passwords, vets warn. You know the deal with public computers. At any point of time, if there is a public computer that you have to use, you should always feel a little bit wary about, whether it's safe to be entering your details. This particular report actually covers a pretty high-profile hacking attempt. It looks like a bunch of hackers actually stole credit card information, used that to pretend to be hotel guests, somehow hacked into the actual management of the hotel, and ended up installing keyloggers on a lot of computers. So I guess in this particular case there is quite a complicated backstory, but I suppose the key learning point of this article is the fact that, well, if someone actually has physical access to a computer, there are a lot of things they can do to compromise its security. The article also suggests some ways in which, if you have some public computers, what are some of the things you could do to actually make it safer. Obviously, none of the methods stated are foolproof, which is why, of course, to us as end users, we should still be very cautious regarding this. Moving on, well, this next piece of news is based on something that has been passing around a lot this week. You may have heard on SoundCloud this recording of a person trying to cancel their service with Comcast and essentially going through this absolutely painful conversation with one of the Comcast support guys. The crux of what was going on in the conversation was the fact that the Comcast representative kept asking the user what they found, bad about the service and why they wanted to cancel. And essentially they kept hounding the user, and not actually helping them. So yeah, that clip passed around and many bad things were said, but I think this article also puts the other side of the story into perspective as well. This article comes from Gizmodo and is entitled, This is why it's so impossible to quit Comcast. The simple answer is this: staff are actually penalized if customers are lost. Essentially, according to the article, a staff member could get their commissions cut if they actually, did not manage to retain a customer. The article actually goes into some detailed examples about, how much of an impact on a paycheck of the staff this could make. So I highly encourage you to check out this article and I guess to understand things from the perspective of the guys working in that call center as well. It also brings to light some interesting questions about, the whole ethics behind doing this. Instead of having a commission system that rewards an employee if they do well, now the same system is actually used against them as punishment if they do badly. So yeah, these are some things worth thinking about, about how companies are running their businesses. In slightly less bleak news, this article comes from Lifehacker and is entitled, The Best Way to Point Your Wi-Fi Router Antennas Perpendicularly. So here's the deal, most of us have Wi-Fi routers with two antennas sticking out like that. Well, this article actually brings to light something that I don't think many people are doing, and that is the fact that when you actually set up your antennas, they should go like this, perpendicularly. Now, the article actually gives us some technical details regarding why this is so. In fact, this is according to a former Apple Wi-Fi engineer, and apparently there is an issue of polarization. Your Wi-Fi reception will be optimal when the polarization of the incoming signal and, well, the receiver in your device are actually the same. But having your antennas at two different angles, essentially you're sending out your signal at two different polarizations, and as a result, there is a higher likelihood of getting an optimal polarization on your device. It's actually a pretty simple concept to understand, so yeah, hopefully you will actually, think about applying that for our own Wi-Fi routers. For slightly more detail on that technical explanation, do head down to the video description and check out the Lifehacker article. So let's now move on to our recommendation of the week. This one is an interesting little web app that you can actually access from your browser, and it's called CameraSim 3D. The whole point of this app, which essentially is a little game, is, well, you can actually have some simulation of how a camera works. In this game, basically you walk around in a 3D world, you have a camera with full manual settings, and you can actually tweak those settings around and take photos, which will actually, teach you a little bit about how a camera works. Definitely a very interesting piece of software. I wouldn't say it replaces the actual real life experience, but for those who are just new to this or, not ready to commit their money on a full proper manual camera, this can be a good place to start to actually learn and understand what all the different settings do and, how they work together hand in hand. This app is currently in beta, so there isn't a whole lot to do in it yet, but, well, it is a very interesting kind of setup, and if you're interested in photography but haven't really gone very far into it and you want to check it out, to head down to the video description, you'll find a link to this. I highly recommend you give it a go. It's actually pretty fun. But yep, that basically wraps it up for this episode of Highlight Sundays. Nothing in the vlog segment today. I have nothing new at all. I've just been spending my time doing my work as usual. So yeah, nothing to update you about. So let's go ahead and wrap up this episode. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, you're watching 0612 TV. Hello, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, remember that I appreciate every like, favorite, and comment you give me. If you'd like to see more from me in the future, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And for more updates outside of YouTube, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at 0612TV. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.